Hey everyone, it's William with Scammy Scammers Action. We're here for our August live Facebook Q&A. I thank everybody who is joining us. I'll give it a few minutes for everyone to kind of get into the chat bar and everything. I'd like to thank everyone who has sent in their questions and who has written in and just being part of this page. We really appreciate it. This is our last Q&A for the summer. For those of you on my side of the world, next month will be autumn or fall. So hopefully we can come up with some new stuff and have some new questions and different things we can address. I just wanted to start off and let a few people get into the chat and go from there. We have quite a few questions that people have asked, and hopefully we can address them. If you have a question that hasn't that you want to ask, you definitely can write it in the chat bar, and we'll get to it in the coming minutes. So again, thanks everyone for joining us. I want to start off with addressing something really important. Anne is going to have some pretty major surgery. She's going to have it September 4th. I'm not going to go into a lot of personal details, but it's a fairly complicated and massive surgery. So your thoughts and prayers are really appreciated. I will update everybody as I can during this time, so you guys know kind of what's going on. But it's going to be September 4th, as I said, and just to let you know, I'll still be working on the page, and so if you come to the inbox, I will answer you, and the page is going to be monitored, so you don't have to worry about it not being addressed. So if you do have concerns and everything, I'm going to be here. But please keep adding your thoughts and prayers, because this is a pretty serious surgery. Hopefully everything will go well, as I know it will. And she'll be back in action in a few weeks or more. But until then, you're stuck with me, and you're stuck with my old lady chats. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that, and I'll try to help you the best I can. Okay, so thanks for everyone for your thoughts and prayers for Anne. And like I said, I will update you guys as time goes on. Let you know what happened with the surgery, let you know she's okay, and things like that, and pass along any messages to her. You can always write in the inbox and send your good wishes. So with that being said, just want to jump into a few things. We've got some great questions that people have written in. I want to start off by talking about scammers that are coming out of places we wouldn't expect. We're having more and more scammers coming out of places like India and Bangladesh. And what's happening is they are doing the same type of scamming that their West African counterparts are doing. They're seeing these West African scammers making all this money romance scamming with fake profiles. And so now the guys in Bangladesh and India and Sri Lanka, places like that, are doing the same type of romance scamming. It can be a little bit dangerous because a lot of people in India are very well educated, very smart. A lot of them are actually really engineers. So, they're saying that they're using fake profiles, and they're saying they're engineers and their English is really, really good. There's a good chance it could be a scammer from somewhere like India. So as always, keep your guard up. If anyone asks you for money, asks you for iTunes cards or anything like that, just remember that it will be a fake. It'll be a scammer, and just say no. But we are catching more and more scammers coming out of places like India and places like Bangladesh. And unfortunately, like I said, they're seeing how well the Africans are doing scamming, so they're going to give it a try as well. So do keep your guard up and be careful with that. So another thing, I want to thank everybody for sharing their stories. I do narrate the stories on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/scammingscammers. If you have a story and you'd like us to narrate, if you'd like me to narrate it for you, you can come to our inbox, tell your story. You can remain anonymous, and usually within a week or so, I'll get your story out on one of our YouTube channel storylines. People really like to hear victim stories, and maybe your story will help another victim cope with what they're going through. So if you'd like to share your story, you can remain anonymous, come to our inbox, and I will narrate your story within a week of you bringing it to me. So I say hi to everybody. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Barbara. Hope you guys are doing good. So we've had some great questions, as I said. The first one comes from one of our regulars, and it is very, very important to listen to this one. So I met a man online through Facebook. We chatted a few days, and he has paid my credit card bill of $1,200. He said he wants to take care of me. If he's a scammer, he wouldn't do that, right? You're wrong. Scammers do pay your credit card bills. Scammers using fake profiles absolutely will volunteer to pay your credit card bills. And it's a way for them to emotionally manipulate you and gain your trust. So if you're talking to a man you met online, and he says, oh, honey, I want to take care of you. I'm a good man. Let me take care of you. And he offers to pay your $1,200 Visa bill because you're a struggling woman that, single mom, whatever. Where the money comes from is they will either steal it from someone's bank account through wire fraud. They will take that person's bank account information and use it to pay your credit card, or they will log into the credit card company, hack the website, and change the payments on it, make a payment. And it's all fine and well, and it'll show up as it's being paid. But usually within 7 to 14 days, that credit card company or that person whose bank account was used to pay your credit card is going to catch on. They're going to file a fraud report, and you're going to end up having to pay the credit card bill. You're going to end up possibly with fraud, with federal charges, with felony charges, and the scammer is going to be gone. And a lot of times what they'll do is, let's say you have a $1,200 credit card. That scammer pays it. Okay, that's great. Then he says to you, well, honey, I paid your credit card for you, so would you go ahead and take $500 out of that credit card since I paid it for you and send me that money because I really need it for whatever reason. And you go ahead and do that. What happens is you will owe the $500. You will owe the $1,200 that he paid off for you, as well as any fraud charges, any interest charges, fees, bank fees, processing fees, anything that the credit card company can stick to you, you're going to have to pay. And that scammer is going to be long gone. Now, I've talked about this before, and I've written a lot of our Stay Safes where I say, you know what, if you're talking to a man online and you haven't met in person, you're not in a real in-person relationship, people don't pay your bills. And a scammer, is going to offer to do that to you so they gain your trust. A normal guy who's never met you in person, who you just know online, is not going to pay your credit card bills. It doesn't work that way. A knight in shining armor is not going to come down and pay your credit cards for you. So if you just met somebody online and you're just, chatting for a day or a few days and they say, honey, I'm going to pay your credit card bill, see that as a huge red flag. Don't give out your login information. Don't give out your account details. Don't give your credit card number. Don't give anything away to that person because it's a scammer and they're just trying to get your information and they're trying to scam you. And at the same time, they're trying to gain your trust. So never give out your credit card information. I don't care what they tell you. Okay, that's just something you just don't want to do. It's unfortunately, we've had a few victims, and one in particular, a lady actually got 5 felony fraud charges put against her, and she spent time in jail because she allowed a man she met online to pay her credit cards. So don't do it. Don't allow it. Just say no, block. It is definitely a scam. All right. So I hope if you've given him your information, and let's say you've already given him your information and he's already paid it, you need to call your credit card company right away. You need to let them know what has happened so that they can put a fraud alert on your account so you don't get in trouble because you can get definitely in trouble for that. So our next question comes from a lady that she had written on her page the other day, and I felt it was worth addressing. This has also been written on our YouTube as well. Why is the military not taking action against scammers using military men's photos? What can be done to stop scammers from stealing their photos? And it's a great question, and I understand a lot of Americans are extremely patriotic. They love our military, okay? And it's fine. It's fine to love the military. But the fact of the matter is the U.S. military cannot do anything about these scammers stealing the photos. Once they've been stolen, the U.S. military is not going to fly over to, Nigeria and go after a 14-year-old kid who's using an Army guy's photo. For one, there's no funds to do that kind of operation. For two, it would be a total political nightmare You know, could you imagine U.S. troops storming a peaceful nation like Ghana and raiding homes because someone used military guy's photos? It would never happen. It would be a huge international incident. So no, there's nothing they can do as far as, you know, arresting a scammer or going after a scammer who has used a military man's photo. There's nothing the Army can do to stop that. However, and there's many factors in this, but the fault lies a lot of times, and I hate to say this because people are going to get all offended, the fault lies on the military men. You have military guys who are being told by the military, yes, you can have a social media account. Yes, you can have a Facebook, you can have an Instagram, you can have all these things when you're in the military. I know plenty of military men who have these types of social media pages. However, keep them private. And what happens is you have the opposite. You have these military men who are, you know, ripping their shirts off and they're flexing their muscles and they're, you know, showing themselves off and they're, you know, unzipping their pants and pulling them halfway down and showing off their body, and they're posting them publicly. And what's happening is scammers are going, all right, we got a free-for-all. Here's military Joe Smith with 15 photos of his body or of himself in the military or of himself leaning against a car or lifting weights at the gym. But here's 4 videos of this man as well. I'm going to steal all of this and create a profile. And that's what's happening is these military guys are leaving their social media pages open. They're showing off their bodies. They're putting hundreds of photos on public display, and scammers are stealing them. So until these military guys stop promoting themselves, their bodies out there for women to go gaga over, the scammers are going to still steal them. It's going to be a free-for-all. And that's where part of the problem lies. And I'm not blaming it entirely on military men, but I'm saying the ones that do, you know, parade themselves out there are going to be victims of photo theft. It's no different than if you had a Facebook page, your profile, and you kept it wide open for everybody to look at, your photos are going to get stolen. And that's what happens. Now, famous generals like Odiono and Chandler and all these guys, they can't help their photos being stolen because they're on the news or in the public eye. But if you've got, you know, Joe Smith, who's a 24-year-old ripped military guy with, you know, a six-pack and big muscles, and he's taking photos of himself at the gym and he's posting them publicly for the whole world to see, he's at fault for his photos getting stolen. He should keep them private. He should keep them to friends only, keep the profile private. And that's what's happening. And I hate to say this, and people get really offended by this, but a lot of these really hot military dudes that a lot of these women fall for or even just throw themselves at, don't care about you. They don't care that, you know, you've been a victim. In fact, there's one man in particular, I won't say his name, but he thinks all women that get scammed are stupid. And he continues to put hundreds of half-naked photos of himself in his uniform out there for the world to see. And when his photos get stolen and victims come to him and say, hey, I fell for your photo, he returns the message and says, you're an idiot. So a lot of these military guys, you know, while you ladies think they look wonderful and you know, you drool over their bodies, the reality of it is most of these guys don't care about you. They don't care about you being a victim. They don't want to date you. They don't want nothing to do with you. So when you go searching for the real man and he tells you off and you get hurt again, you know, unfortunately, that's the nature of it. And these military guys are going to continue to put their photos out there. And as long as they continue to put their photos out there, they're going to continue to have fake profiles. There's nothing they can do to stop it other than locking down their photos. So that's my answer. That's Ann and I's answer to what the military can do. That's what they can do. They can lock down their photos. Linda asked, why isn't Facebook taking down these people? You know, Facebook is corrupt. They're corrupt as corrupt can be. And I'm going to tell you, Facebook, they get money. They care about the money. And so if Facebook has 10 million users, and let's say 5 million of them are fake, if they remove those 5 million users, that's revenue and ad money and you know, money that they're losing. Facebook, you know, pretends to care about our safety, but in reality, they care about money. And they're a billion dollar business. And the more money that they can generate, the happier they are. And if Facebook really cared, yes, they would remove the fake profiles, but they don't. I mean, you can type in Bob Smith, U.S. Army right now into Facebook, and I guarantee you 100 profiles will show up. All of them will be fake. So, A lot of the times when you report a profile, and it's getting harder and harder to do that now, they get reported and it's automated. It's just a robot that says, yeah, that's real. No, that's not. And sometimes they remove real people's profiles, and sometimes they keep the fake ones up. So there's no rhyme or reason to it. And Facebook does need to change the way that they work their page and how they get rid of fake and real profiles. And until they change that, Facebook is going to be just a breeding ground for fakes. And it's unfortunate, but that's kind of the way it's going to be. So Joni wrote, I want to know is I had a guy tell me they needed me to help with them to come back to the States. Yes, real military men don't need your help. They don't need your money. They don't need money for flights. They don't need any of that. So if you're talking to a military guy and he says, honey, I need money to come home, that is absolutely a lie. Absolutely. So just, keep that in mind if you're talking to somebody and they say that. Just block them. Military men don't pay for leaves. They don't pay for any of that. So, okay, we got another question. I was scammed online and sent money to Nigeria, and now the fake profile is contacting me saying if I don't pay him more money, he will murder me. I'm scared. What can I do? Well, the first thing you could do is stop talking to the fake profile or the scammer. If someone is threatening to murder you, you need to just block them. The reality is the majority of these scammers are Nigerian kids. They're 15 to 20-year-old kids. They're stuck in Lagos. They're stuck in Accra. They're stuck in whatever West African country or city they're in. They're not going to fly over and murder you. It's a scare tactic. It's a threat. It's something to scare the ordinary person. And you need to keep that in mind that in reality, they're not going to come over and kill you. You need to ignore them. You need to block them. You need to stop engaging with the scammer. And that's another huge thing that people do. If you know a profile is fake and you've been scammed, and the profile is fake, or you even talk to the real scammer, you need to block them. Don't engage them. Don't play with them. Don't, stay their friend so you can find out more information. You already know what you need to know. You've been scammed. It's a fake profile. It's a scammer. You need to ignore them. You need to block them. Never pay a scammer. I don't care if they threaten to come over to your house and blow it up. Don't pay a scammer, because they're just going to ask for more and more money. And the more you engage them and the more you allow them to have power over you, the worse it's going to get. So don't even think about it. Don't get scared. Don't freak out. Just block them. And that's what you need to do, is just block them. So, all right. So we got a couple more questions. Melissa says, yes, Instagram is crawling with scammers. And there's an article that I posted today. Instagram is going to try and do more to combat scammers. They're going to try to check profiles. New Instagram profiles are going to be kind of scrutinized. So hopefully that'll get rid of some of the fakes. But a new thing too you need to check for on Instagram is if you're talking to somebody on Instagram and they have 2 people following them and they're following 1,000 people, and all the people they're following are like, women 45 to 50, and it's a 24-year-old military dude, it's going to be a scammer. You need to look at the ratio of followers to following. And, a real popular, we just had one tonight. He's a famous bodybuilder, and it showed that he was following over 1,000 women and he had like 50 followers. That's going to be a scammer. Legit people that are famous bodybuilders, musicians, actors, all that stuff, they have millions and millions of followers. They don't have, a few people following them and they're following hundreds of people. And also, know that Facebook is owned by, or Instagram is owned by Facebook. So Facebook owns Instagram, they own WhatsApp, they own quite a few different pages. So it's no surprise that there's scammers on all of those. So. I'll say hello to everybody. Hello, Gail, and everyone that's come in and that's new. We really appreciate you guys joining us for our Q&A. Our next question we had, and this is a growing scam as well. I applied for a loan online from a man I met on Facebook. He says he needs a copy of my passport to finish the loan process. Is this safe? No. Legit loan companies are not on Facebook. If you're talking to Joe Bob Smith, and it says loan officer, it's a scammer. If you're needing money, you're in a financial situation where you want a loan, go to an actual loan company. Google a loan company in your town, your city, your country, wherever you're from, or go to a legit bank like, Citibank or Chase Bank. Go to something that's legit. Don't give your personal information to somebody online who claims to be a loan company, even if their Facebook profile has, all these photos of people getting money and checks and they're celebrating and they have cars and all this. It's a scam. And a lot of times, scammers aren't always after money. They're after your personal information. They're after your passport. They will take that passport and they will make a fake profile. And if Facebook asks for ID, guess what? They have an ID. They have yours. So if you're talking to somebody, they're a loan officer, or they can do Bitcoin trading for you or whatever, and they want your passport, your driver's license, your national ID card, any of that kind of stuff, block them. It's going to be a scam. It might not be a scam for your money. It might be a scam for your ID. And also, I will touch on loan companies don't need fees to process it as well. So if somebody's saying, I can get you a $10,000 loan, but it's going to cost you, $400, it's a scam. So just block them. And like I said, if you need a loan, go to a legit company. Don't go to Facebook for a loan. Billy asked, how can you check the URL? It depends. If you are on a computer, the URL is going to be the top of the toolbar. It'll say http www.facebook.com/bigmoneyboy, and that's going to be the URL. So it'll be facebook.com/ whatever the ending URL is. If you're on a phone, it's different for everybody. The best way I tell people is, if you're on Facebook and you're on a phone, and I have an Android phone, if you go to the profile and where it says add friend and all that, there's three little dots. If you tap those dots, more often than not, you can scroll and it'll show the URL. If that doesn't work, you can always tap. If you're on an iPhone, you can tap it with your hand and just hold it down at the very top of the toolbar, or the very top of the profile, and it should copy and paste the link, and that'll be the URL. It's different for everybody. Like it's different for everyone's phone, so I can't really give you directions, because some people have Android, some people have iPhones. It just depends. You can always Google it as well, how to check a URL while you're on your phone. But always pay attention to URLs, because they can tell you a lot. We have a lot of people that will bring us a profile that'll be Bob Smith, will be the name, and the URL is going to be, OUL Moneyboy. And so that'll tell you everything you need to know. And you can always Google how to check a URL on your phone. So, because like I said, every application is different. So we got a few questions. Charlotte asked, thanks for your help. You're welcome, Charlotte. And to everybody, if you need help, we're always here for you. Staying off of dating sites, is Badoo a bad site as well? Badoo is riddled with scammers. There's a handful of sites. It's kind of funny. Badoo, Tagged, High Five, all of those sites are kind of owned by the same company. They have similar layouts. With Badoo, and I've noticed this in the last few months, what Badoo is doing is they're making you verify your profile. So what they'll do at first is you can be on Badoo for about 3 or 4 days, and then it's going to ask you when you log in, it's going to ask you, do you have a phone number you can verify? And it won't let you go any further until you verify that phone number. So once you verify that phone number, it'll let you into your profile. But then if you try to message somebody, it'll kick you back out again, and it'll say, take a photo of yourself holding up your username. And that's kind of a new way that they're trying to combat scammers, because Badoo was just completely riddled with scammers a few years ago. But that's kind of a way for them to combat scammers. But what's happening is, like I said, you have 3 or 4 days of like a free trial on Badoo. And what scammers do is they create a fake profile, they go into Badoo, and then they try to find as many victims as they can, and they say, oh dear, let's go to Hangouts. I like you. Let's email. Let's text. Do you have Kik? Do you have Viber? And that's what they're trying to do. So they still are going to be on Badoo, even though they have this verification process now. They're just going to rush in, grab as many victims as they can, and get out. Every dating site has scammers. And we've kind of talked about this before. You know, there's no dating site that's safe. From POF, and that's where I get a lot of my voice chats is from POF. Um, Badu, POF, Our Time, you know, eHarmony, which is a pay site, Match, all of them have scammers. And I've said it before, if you are on eHarmony, which, you know, I think they pay like $30 a month for it, it's full of scammers. And what they get is the scammers that use stolen credit cards. And they'll take a stolen credit card, they'll sign up for a paid dating site, and you'll be talking to somebody and you think, well, this is a pay site, so it won't be a scammer. It will. It'll be a more sophisticated scammer who has, you know, a stolen credit card that they're using to access this profile. So, you know, sites like eHarmony, you'll get probably a more leveled scammer. You'll get a scammer that speaks really good English, that types really quickly, that knows what they're doing. Whereas like on High Five, where I get a lot of my chats from as well, you get the ones where they put little floating heads and they don't know English. And so just remember that no site is safe, and the pay sites are going to get you a little bit more sophisticated of a scammer. So there's nowhere that you can go that's safe. You just need to know what to look out for. And like I said, if they ask for money, iTunes cards, bank information, if you're talking to somebody, you just met them online and they say, oh, dear, what's your email? What's your phone number? What do you do for a living? When do you get paid? Just block them. A normal person doesn't ask that. And you're right, Tinder is full of them. We get a lot of people bringing us fakes on Tinder. It's just as bad. I'm sorry to hear that happen, Charlotte. And also, you know, just touching on, we always talk about scammers on dating sites. There's crazy people on dating sites too. You know, and if you do meet a legit person on a dating site, meet it in a public place. Because you know what, you might not get a scammer, but you might get somebody else that can hurt you. So, you know, always be careful, because this world is definitely crazy, and you never know what you're going to pick up on a dating site. So, but you know, it's just, they're all full. Every dating site is full of scammers. So, and if any site tells you that they're scammer free, like we've had a few people bring us some military dating sites where they say free, scammer free. They're lying to you. There is no site that's scammer free. There was a new page brought up recently called MeWe, and it's similar to Facebook. It's a new spinoff, but it's like I said, similar to Facebook, and it's called MeWe. And there was a few pages that had touted this site as being great. It's safe. It's this and that. I actually created a fake profile on MeWe just to see what I'd get, and all I got was fake profiles wanting to friend me, fake military profiles. So there's no site that's scammer free, and if someone tells you they're scammer free, then they're either stupid or they don't know what they're doing. So don't believe that if they say, oh, it's scammer free, it's fine. No, every site has scammers, every single one. So keep that in mind. Our next question, let's take a look here. Yeah, Barbara, you should block them. If you find out they're fake, just block them. It's not even worth your time to mess with them. So the next question is, why do I keep seeing profiles of The Rock giving away money? And it's legit. Let me grab that question real quick. I will tell you that another anti-scam page, we sadly saw this. I won't say the name of the anti-scam page, but they recommended that people go to this MeWe site because it's safe. And like I said before, it's not a safe site. Every site has scammers. So again, just keep it in mind. If an anti-scam page is telling you, go here because there's no scammers, then they obviously don't know what they're talking about, because there's scammers on every single site, everywhere, no matter what they are. So question, The Rock, he's giving away money, cars, Mercedes, millions of dollars. He wants to date you. He wants to marry you. No, he's not. And I think this week we've probably gotten 50 profiles of The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, giving away free stuff, just like Oprah. Everything's free. Legit famous people. Oprah, The Rock, you know, who else? Vin Diesel. They've been circulating lately, and they do circulate. You know, you'll have The Rock circulating for a couple weeks, and then you'll have Vin Diesel, then you'll have Oprah, then you'll have, you know, some other famous person. Real famous people are not giving away cars, money, prizes on Facebook. They're just not. And as much as you want to talk to Vin Diesel, as much as you want The Rock to tell you that you're gorgeous, they're not. It's not going to happen. And a lot of these sites, unfortunately, on Facebook, you'll say you have a fake profile of The Rock, and he'll say, click on this link down here to watch my movie for free. People click on the link, and what happens is it takes you to a page that asks for your name, your address, your Facebook username, your Facebook password. And that's scammers are collecting that information, and they're just stealing your Facebook page. So remember that famous people have verified pages. You can hover over the little blue dot to make sure it says verified page and it's not just a photo of a verified page. And on your phone, if you go to that blue dot and you just tap it, it's going to tell you if that's a verified page or not. So no, famous people are not giving away free things on Facebook. And unfortunately, we've had a lot of people fall for this, and they love the idea that a celebrity would love to talk to them. But the reality is they're not. They're not going to talk to you. And they don't even know who you are. So the only way you're going to be a celebrity is if you go to like a meet and greet in person and you meet them. And they don't charge for those either. So Charles wrote, what's the deal with the ladies that won't talk to them on the phone? Well, the deal with that is if you've met a woman online and she's a gorgeous lady and her name is Mary Clary or Promise Smith or whatever, and she won't talk to you on the phone, it's more likely that she is a he. Any legit woman who wants to know you will talk to you on voice chat, will talk to you on cam. If you're talking to somebody and they refuse to voice chat, especially if it's a female profile, it's more than likely a male who you're dealing with, because you can't change the voice. So it's more likely you're talking to an African male. And I say this, and Anna said this a million times. If you're talking to somebody online and they're demanding your phone number right away, don't give it to them. We have so much technology now that if you meet somebody on Facebook and you say to them, "Oh, I'd like to talk with you," you just hit that voice button, that microphone, and you voice chat with them. And that's what you need to do. You don't need to sit there and give your phone number out to somebody that you've just met. You can voice chat with them via FaceTime, via Skype, or right on Facebook. Hit that mic, it'll dial to them, and you can talk to them. And that's what you should do. Don't give your phone number out to somebody that you don't hardly know, because what will happen is the scammer, if it's a scammer, they'll share your number with everybody, and pretty soon you're getting phone calls from everyone and their grandmother wanting to know you, and they're scammers. How come some scammers come clean and tell you who they really are? There's a couple reasons for that. It's interesting, isn't it? You'll be talking to Bob Smith and he comes clean and says, "Dear, I'm not that man in the photo. I'm really, so-and-so, and I live in Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm 21 years old, and I really am sorry, and I'm sorry I scammed, and I'll never do it again, and it's my first time scamming, and I'm poor, and I just wanted money for a bowl of rice." The truth is, a lot of them do come clean, but they continue to victimize the victim. They continue to scam the victim after they've come clean. Some of them do confess, and they do it for a few reasons. If their scam has run out and they can't get any more money, or they feel like they can't get money from you, they will confess and say, "Oh, I've never done this before, I'm sorry." And then they will go ahead and tell you a sad story of their life. "I'm a poor, lonely 20-year-old kid from Lagos. I have no food. My parents are both dead. My sister died of malaria. I've got something wrong with me, and I need antibiotics, and I'm poor, and life is hard here, and I can't even get a piece of fish to eat, and blah, blah, blah." And the reality is, and they confess to you. And they'll say a really famous line for them to say, "Well, I didn't think you'd like me because I'm African and my skin is not white." And they spin this tale, and what happens is a lot of victims will go, "Oh gosh, maybe life is really hard for you in Nigeria. I want to be your friend." And what happens is that these people, gain your trust as themselves, and then they'll say, "Well, since you know me and you know the real me, could you send me some money? I don't have anything." And what you do is you put their name in Facebook, you put their city, you put their phone number in Facebook, it brings up their real profile, and you see a 24-year-old guy driving a Mercedes with $100 bills hanging out of his mouth, gold chains, and saying, "Hustle hard, I got money from these dumb people." And so some of them do confess to gain your trust. Some of them, out of desperation. There's a lot of different reasons. But if a scammer confesses to you and they tell you this sad sob story, just block them. Yeah, some scammers do scam because they don't have money and because they are poor and they are hungry. Yeah, we joke about foodstuffs, and yes, there are some African scammers, some scammers in Nigeria who probably haven't eaten a meal in 2 days, that probably are desperate and hungry. But keep in mind that for every one scammer who, is scamming for $50 so they can buy a bag of rice, there's a million scammers that are scamming who just bought a brand new Toyota Camry with your money, who just bought a brand new $1 million house, who just, dropped $400 on, bottles of champagne. So you can't believe the scammers when they tell you these sad stories, because the majority of them end up being lies. And we've caught many of them who have confessed to us and then they just turn around and scam again. Or they'll say that, they've never scammed and they won't do it again. And the truth is they do it again. They're doing it right now, And sadly, scammers have this notion, and I hate to say it, a lot of West African scammers have this notion that everybody in the Western world is rich. And we have lots of money, we're very rich, we have everything we need, and we have gobs of money everywhere, and they'll ask us for $10,000 and say, oh dear, that's not a lot of money for you. And the reality is, a lot of us, like myself, like Ann, we're not rich. We don't have gobs of money. I don't have gobs of money. I don't have, a lot of things. But they get that notion that everyone in the West is rich, and they have this painted picture of like America being a wealthy nation where we all have nice cars and shoes and clothes. And the truth is, it's further from that. A lot of us are struggling, like myself, and we don't have all this stuff. And unfortunately, it's just they've got that notion in their head that we're all rich, and so they can just take money from us, and that's not true. So if a scammer confesses, just, I would just block them. I wouldn't fall for the sad story. And while their sad story might be true, they lied to you from the get-go, so why would you want to keep engaging them? Right? So our next question, someone contacted me on Messenger, and he said he was peacekeeping in Syria, but the messenger said it is logged in from a Nigerian phone number. Why is that? That's a great feature that Facebook, I will give kudos to Facebook for doing this feature. They have a new feature now. If you're logged in from a Nigerian phone number, on Messenger, it comes up. You are logged in from a Nigerian phone number. And that gives victims a really good opportunity to know right from the get-go who they're talking to and who they're dealing with. So it's wonderful. So if you're talking to, Jim Smith, and he's peacekeeping in Syria, and he's a buff military dude, but on the messenger it says logged in from a Nigerian phone number from a brand new account, it's a Nigerian scammer using his Nigerian phone number to log into Messenger. And what you should do is you should just go no and block them and move on. There's without a doubt that it's a scammer. American military men are not logged in from Nigerian phone numbers chatting with you. So it's a scammer. Just block them. Because you already know. You already know it's fake. You already know it's a Nigerian scammer. You can just block and move on. Beverly, if you need help, you can come to our inbox, click Messenger, and we can help you out. Our inbox is always open to anybody who needs help. So if you do need help, come to the inbox. Charlotte, you're right. Scammers do threaten you with police. I've seen a few fake badges and few fake, police ID and FBI IDs. Legit police don't threaten you via Facebook. And if a scammer is threatening you and saying, I'm going to call the police and have you arrested, or, the military is going to arrest you because you didn't buy me an iTunes card, just, laugh it off and block them. If I had $1 for every scammer that told me that they were going to arrest me for not sending them money, I'd be a millionaire. Just block them. It's just a scare tactic. It's just a thing. And unfortunately, a lot of people fall for that. So, if anyone's threatening you with the police via Facebook, just block them. Sheila, that Jewel, the URL, I notice a lot of scammers are AWE Jewel at the end of their URL. Almost everybody's URL will say .jewel. It depends on what your browser is. That the Jewel has nothing to do with the actual URL. It's just a code. It's for coding. So if you see something that says facebook.com/Bob Smith, and then it'll say like, AWE equal JEWEL. It's just a code. It's just coding for the URL. It has nothing to do with the actual URL. It has nothing to do with who the person is. A lot of people see it and they think that it's a scammer named Jewel. It's not. It's just coding. It's like if you go to like Amazon, and you go to Amazon.com, and it'll be slash, and there'll be a bunch of numbers or something. It's just IRC coding for the URL. It has nothing to do with the. You can just ignore it. Pretty much is what I'm trying to say. So I think that's all of our questions that we had. I want to address a couple of things. Scammers are trolling pages like Working Women and relationship quotes. They're trolling CNN. They're trolling all these kind of news pages, fan pages, cancer pages. Let's say, God forbid, your child has a horrible disease and you're in a support group. There's a scammer in that group too that's got an imaginary child with that same disease. So scammers are everywhere. Don't think that they're just on dating sites. We're seeing more and more coming from the Working Women page, coming from the relationship quotes page, coming from people that have arthritis. They're running around the rheumatoid arthritis pages and things like that. So if you see someone saying, "Oh dear, I have arthritis too," and "Oh dear, I was looking for a friend," it's a scammer. And unfortunately, a lot of admin don't know how to regulate their groups, and so these scammers slip in. So if you're talking to somebody and they just don't sound right, and it sounds like a scammer, and you know what to look for, just block them. And also, if you're in a group and you have a scammer, a fake profile, let the admin know. And just tell them, hey, I don't know if you know, but this guy's fake and he's trying to scam everybody. And any good admin will kick them out of the group. So if you see that, just let the admin know, and hopefully they'll kick them out. And if they don't, then maybe look for a different group for you to be a part of, because you don't want to have a bunch of scammers in your groups. And another thing, real quickly, we'll address that someone asked me to bring up: pages. Profiles. So you've got a profile of an army dude with a machine gun, and he's running up a hill and he's screaming, and he's got a helmet, or he's jumping out of a helicopter. Real Rambo tough guy. And his wallpaper is a puppy. Or his photos in his album is him jumping out of a helicopter, a puppy, a kitten, a bouquet of roses, and a teddy bear. That is a fake. And unfortunately, more and more scammers are, because, in America and the UK and Australia, we all love dogs, we all love cats. And scammers actually, feed off of that. So here you'll have a nice looking man who loves puppies. Oh my God, that's like my dream guy, and a lot of women will fall for that. And they'll say, well, I want a sensitive man who loves puppies. And here's this big, buff, handsome dude, and he's holding a little golden retriever puppy, and he's kissing it on the face. Scammers know you love that. Scammers know that a lot of women love a sensitive man who is also rugged, and so they use these photos, and they try to get women to fall for this man who's got little puppies, and they'll even come up with names of the puppies. This is little Kelvin, and this is little whatever. And you need to remember that. Don't fall for the cute puppies. And any legit person, who's like a military guy or whatever, is not going to have a cute little fuzzy puppy as his background. He's not going to have a cute little fuzzy puppy and say, this is my puppy Kelvin, and so just remember that. I mean, I'm a dog lover, and Anne's a dog lover, and it frustrates us when people fall for a profile, and we'll ask them, well, why did you fall for that profile? He had a cute little puppy, and his poor puppy was sick, and I had to send an iTunes card to the veterinarian. And so don't fall for that. And it's very easy to fall for that kind of thing. I mean, we want an animal lover. Who doesn't want an animal lover as a partner, if you love dogs or cats? So just remember that. And same with kittens. I'm not going to discriminate. Same with kittens. If you have a military guy and he's got a little kitten as his background, it's likely a scammer. So, Terry, you had a military personal scammer tell me to obey your man. And he wanted $350 for his kid's glasses. That's, again, Legit military men and their families are covered by TRICARE. They get their glasses, their dental, they get their shots, they get their surgeries, their medicine. All of that is covered through TRICARE. That's why a lot of people join the military, so that they can get medical and dental and benefits, and they don't have to worry. Interesting that you say that they said to obey your man. I'm not trying to lump in all Nigerians or all Ghanaians, but a lot of Nigerian men are very headstrong and they're very dominant. They want to be the head of the household. And so you'll have a scammer who will say something like, obey your man, do as I say, know your role, do what I tell you, woman. And I've had scammers tell me that when I played my fake old lady, they'll tell me, do what I tell you, woman. Unfortunately, you can kind of pick up on that. And I'm not saying all Nigerian men are like this, but the majority of them are taught to be the head of household. They're taught to make the decisions. They are taught to be, the dominant role in the relationship. So, if you have a man that's saying that to you for a start, kind of look at that as a red flag. It might not even be a fake profile, but if you have someone that's just telling you to obey, something's very wrong with them. You shouldn't talk to a woman like that. I would never talk to Anne like that. She would throw me into next week. So, you don't do that. And so if someone's telling you that, that's a huge red flag. Don't allow them to dominate you or talk to you that way, because it's disrespectful for a start. So we'll check out if you have a couple more questions. I can answer them. Otherwise, we'll probably close this Q&A. Yeah, you're right, Lynn. All pages have scammers, and just remember that. So as I said, we'll be doing another Q&A probably the middle towards end of September. We've got a couple things going on this month in September. We're working with a filmmaker who's doing a documentary on Australia. It's an Australian filmmaker that's doing a documentary on romance scams. So we're working with that person, and hopefully in the future, if that documentary comes out, I'm going to be in it. So we'll definitely post it in the future. We've had a couple of different media outlets contact us for some interviews. So we've been busy with that, but hopefully September, maybe towards the middle or the end of September, we will do another Q&A. This next week's going to be really tough for us because, like I said, Anne's going through some major surgery on the 4th. We'd like you to keep her in your thoughts and prayers because it is a pretty serious surgery. It's pretty risky. So just know that I will update you guys as I hear information, and I will be working the page. I'll be flying solo. I will be monitoring the page. I will be working it. It won't go unmanned by any means. And we also have some spotters, some regulars that'll keep the page rolling, checking for things that shouldn't be there as well. And just know that I will answer the inbox. I do work a lot. So if I, don't get to you for a couple hours, I will get to you, but just bear with me. And again, I will let you know how Anne's doing with her surgery. Just please keep her in your thoughts and prayers because, she is the machine that runs this page, and, she's my whole heart. So if anything happened, I'd be really upset. So please keep her in your thoughts and prayers. Everything's going to be fine, as we know. But I will update you guys and let you know what's going on with that. Gab, I actually watch 90 Day Fiance. I don't watch a lot of TV, but that is one TV show that I watch almost I think it's on Sundays, every Sunday. There is a story, the Angela who went to meet her Michael to meet the man in Nigeria. She's an American who went to go meet a guy in Lagos, and it's actually an interesting show. So if you do TLC and you do like reality shows, 90 Day Fiance is a great show to watch. It's very addicting, unfortunately, but yeah, I do watch that show, and it's interesting to hear how it plays out with Angela and Michael, because I think, in my opinion, and this is just going off my opinion, I think they're both scammers. So Sheila, why do I hear chickens in the background when I talk to a scammer? Thank you for your prayers. You do, don't you? You'll be talking to a person who says they live in Los Angeles, California, and it's midnight, and they'll call you and you hear chickens and roosters clucking in the background. And I've had that happen with my fake old lady profile. I just ask them, what the hell are they doing with all the chickens? You're supposed to be a doctor in the hospital, and I hear chickens. Just remember, when it's midnight in Los Angeles, It's 8 o'clock in the morning in Nigeria. And don't be afraid to Google time. I actually on my phone have international time checker. It tells me the time in every country in the world, so I can check. And when I talk to a scammer and I know they're a scammer and they tell me, oh, it's midnight, dear, and I hear roosters, I know they're in Nigeria. So that's a great way. Just check the time, and you can always tell. So thanks to everyone for their thoughts and prayers. I really appreciate it. And just like I said, keep in mind this next week's going to be pretty hectic, but I will be here to answer the inbox. And if there's any questions I missed, you can come to our inbox, and we will always answer you. And like I said, I'll be here. And just keep that in mind. So thank you to everybody. Thank you for your thoughts and prayers for Anne. She's watching, of course, and so we appreciate it. And we've been doing this page for a lot of years, and hopefully we will continue to help you and just grow in the future, and things will be really great. We're doing more videos, on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is growing. We've got almost 5,000 subscribers. If you'd like your story narrated into a video, drop it in our inbox. You can remain anonymous, and I will narrate your story into a video. As I said, give me a week. It takes me about a week because each video takes at least 3 or 4 hours to make. It's done painstakingly slow, so do keep that in mind. And knowing Anne, she'll probably work from the hospital, half medicated, but that's okay. She's really dedicated to helping everybody, and I am as well. So we really appreciate when you guys give us positive feedback and are appreciative to what we do. And yeah, Melissa, you're right. They do want to talk to you in the middle of your night. If you're talking to a man and he's from like Texas and he keeps calling you at 3 o'clock in the morning, something's very wrong. And remember that a lot of scammers are young. They're college-age kids, and they want to talk to you before school and after school and during lunch breaks. So if you're talking to somebody and they call you at 3 a.m. your time, remember that it's 10 a.m. in Nigeria. So yeah, that's a huge red flag. Normal people, normal working people, especially a normal successful businessman or an oil rig worker or whatever, is not going to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning to talk to you to begin with. So, but thank you everyone again. And again, if you have any questions, our inbox is open. You can also find us on YouTube, Scamming Scammers. And thanks to all the positive feedback on our old lady. People ask me, when are you going to do more chats? I'm going to tell you, it's very hard to get scammers to talk to you on voice chat. So usually on my days off from work, I will go online and try to find a scammer to talk to me. But the old lady will be making more videos, and hopefully we'll get some funny chats out of that as well. So I'm glad you guys enjoy those as well as our educational videos. All right, Anne says hello to everybody. Thank you for your prayers. Again, I'll keep you updated after her surgery to let you guys know how things went. But until then, if you need help, our inbox is open, and I'm here for you. You're stuck with me for probably a week or so. Anyway, thanks again. We'll see you at the end of September for our next Q&A. If you have any questions for the next Q&A, bring them to the inbox, and we'll add them to the list. So remember, love yourself, don't love the scammer, keep your money to yourself, and as always, we will see you at the end of September. Bye, everybody.